Hello, I'm Refashionista Sheri, and today I have pure sweater power for you in the form of a bunch of awesome 2-for-1 tutorials. Don't buy any new sweaters. You don't need new sweaters this year. You can take the ones you already have and transform them into multiple items so simply, so easily. What do I always say? If I can do it, you can do it. I'm showing you how to easily do these things. So if you love these kind of wardrobe transformations, be sure to subscribe. And before we jump into it, can I highly recommend my own course? Is that okay? I think it is. I have put together my awesome DIY gifts anyone can do course. It's only $34.99. There's like over 100 tutorials in there for every single person on your list. It's like an hour-long-ish course. And then you get the ebook version of my awesome Upcycled gift guide ebook. I said ebook, right? You don't get this one. You get the ebook version, which is even better because you can put it in your phone and take it with you everywhere you go so you can be making at all times. And with that said, let's get making.
For this quick and easy project, all you need is your shrunken wool sweater and your scissors. So first you want to flip your sweater inside out and then fold it in half evenly with the shoulder seams and the sleeve seams lined up. And then you're just going to pick a spot a little bit down from the sleeve seam, from the armhole, and chop off the sleeves. So if you're wondering why we're using a shrunken wool sweater for this, it is because when wool shrinks, the fibers constrict onto themselves. So that means that it is not going to fray. So when you chop it, you pretty much have a lovely finished edge and you don't have to hem it. You can if you want to, or you can bind it with something, but this truly is a no-sew project if you use felted shrunken wool. And when we flip those chopped sleeves right side out, we have created a very funky pair of leg warmers. Okay, next we're going to take the remainder of our sweater, which is still inside out, and we're going to chop it about 2 or 3 centimeters below those underarm seams, straight across. And when we flip the chopped bottom right side out, we have a groovy little circle scarf that you can wear this around your neck. You can wear it as a hoodie, or if the length is long enough, you can even wear it as a little mini skirt bum warmer if you want to. Okay, now we're going to take that last remaining piece and chop straight up the center through the collar of the front. And we've just created a rather cute and cozy little shrug or bolero jacket.
How quick and easy was that to make? And don't we all have kind of an itchy or shrunken sweater in our stash that can easily be transformed into something like this?
For this super simple project, all you need is your oversized sweater, a pair of scissors, and of course, your sewing gear. So just like 99% of my tutorials, I have never done this before, so we're learning together here. Okay, so I'm thinking I want the front to be a little bit higher than the back. And so in order to do that, let's first flip this inside out. Okay, so we're now inside out and I have the front of the sweater facing up. Now, I think I'm just going to start on one side here and go, I don't know, 1 centimeter or 2. Yeah, let's do 2 centimeters below the underarm seam. And I just put a little notch in there because we want to be able to hem this up. If you are using like a jersey fabric or you're doing this with a hoodie, you can actually not do any hemming at all because, you know, jersey fabrics, sweatshirt fabrics, they can just be stretched and yeah, you have a lovely finished edge when you stretch it. And so, I mean, I might do this with a hoodie too because that would be kind of cool. Okay, anyway, so you see I have my scissors here, a couple centimeters below that underarm seam. And now I'm just going to kind of cut this on a gentle curve, and let's see what that's going to look like. Okay, I think I got that pretty even. Now we're going to flip it over and do something similar on the back. So I was just thinking, do I want this to also be a curve, like a kind of, but lower on my back? Or should we do straight across? And I think let's start with straight across. Then I can just kind of go from the underarm seam to underarm seam, and then we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so I think that actually came out really, really well, and I'm just going to go try it on and make sure that everything is okay.
That is absolutely perfect. And the back too, I think, is pretty awesome. It's a nice curve here. And yeah, now I'm just going to go fold this under. Yes, I can work. And hem it up, and then we can work on the skirt.
So as you can see, because this is a lovely stretchy knit, I was able to do the super simple lettuce hem here, which is simply folding it under and using a tight wide zigzag and stretching as you stitch. The top is done. Now let's move on to the skirt. So this is the chopped bottom part of the sweater, and we're going to flip it around because this bottom of the sweater hem is now going to become our waistband for our skirt. Now there's a couple different ways that you can make this fit you. If it already does, great, you're nearly done. But if not, you can always fold it over, make an elastic casing and pop in some elastic so it fits your waist, or you can do what I'm going to do and simply take in the side seams a little bit until it does fit your waist. So we'll do that in a second, but first I want to sort out the bottom hem. If you would like this to be a high-low skirt, then just go ahead and hem it up and then sort out your waistband and you're done. I don't want that, so I'm going to chop this straight across and then hem up the bottom using that funky wavy lettuce hem technique again. So now the bottom is all nice and lettucey, and at the top I actually went ahead and decided to do an elastic waist casing. So I have it folded over and stitched, and now I'm just going to feed my elastic through to finish off the fabulous skirt.
Another absolutely fantastic and so super simple refashion from one kind of frumpy sweater into two adorable pieces that can be worn together or separately, of course. And I don't know why I've never made one of these before. Like, that was so simple and it looks so cool.
For the first no-sew version of this sweater transforming tutorial, all you need is your sweater and your scissors. I'm curious about something. Do you guys also remove the tags from your refashioning garments? I always do this, because I think, look, I've refashioned this. I've made it into something totally different. It is now my design. Plus the fact that I just remove the tags from like everything pretty much because I, don't like the idea of having, sizes dictated to me and all of that because, I mean, come on, sizes, especially nowadays, are a moot point and it's all vanity sizing anyway. And tags are also scratchy and itchy. So yeah, let me know down below. Do you remove tags or do you leave them on? So to transform this into a rather versatile vest, all we're going to do is chop off the sleeves and we're going to leave behind this thick sleeve seam so we don't have to do any hemming or sewing at all. So let's just do that. So I have both the sleeves off. Now let's go try it on and style it up, and then we can move on to the next project in this 2-for-1 tutorial. If you want to make this a totally no waste, no sew project, then simply take the sleeves and fold in the chopped top, and you have a pair of very cute little leg warmers. But for me, I am going to kind of fancy up my vest a little bit because I think it's a little bit boring, and I was thinking to myself it might look cool if it had some kind of ruffles around the sleeves here. So that's what I'm going to try to do, and I think the easiest way to do that is to use use the sleeves and make them into like kind of ruffles. So let's try that. Okay, so I have one sleeve inside out, and the first thing I'm going to do is chop out this thick underarm sleeve seam. Okay, so now I have my sleeve totally opened up, and I'm going to fold it in half as evenly as possible, making sure that I have the cuffs lined up. The top is not super even, but whatever, we can trim it in a minute. Okay, now I am going to cut my sleeve in half. Okay, so because I already have my sleeve pieces with the right sides facing and with the cuffs lined up, I am simply going to go and stitch the tops together. So I have my first sleeve pieces stitched together at the top, and then I did go ahead and trim up the edges so it's even more even than it was before, which actually wasn't very even, so they definitely needed a trim. Okay, so that's what it looks like when it's open. Now, here is my theory of how this is going to work. And again, it's just, I guess, a little insight into my refashionista brain here. Okay, so in theory, what I hope is going to happen is I'm going to stitch this around the armhole with, of course, you know, everything facing nicely. And then it's going to kind of hang there and be a nice little ruffle. But of course we need, you know, to ruffle up one of the sides here. And I think maybe, yeah, let's do this side. And yeah, it's really easy to give a ruffled or lettuce hem to stretchy knit fabric, actually. The first way you can do it is to simply fold it over and then do a tight, wide zigzag, stretching as you stitch. And then as the zig is zagging and you are stretching, it will gather it up like so, and you'll have a nice little ruffled edge. The other way is to use your rolled hem foot, which then means you actually don't have to fold it over yourself because the rolled hem foot will do it for you, but it's very, very simple. So I'm going to go ruffle up one side of my stitched together sleeve pieces. So I actually managed to get both of my sleeve pieces all done and ruffled. Look at how ruffly that is. That looks fantastic. So now I have to figure out how I'm going to get these around the armholes in the quickest, easiest, and nicest looking possible way. So because I actually wanted to take in the sides of this sweater a little bit because it's pretty wide, I think the easiest way to do this is if I actually chop out the side seams here, and then I can simply kind of attach my new sleeves in a nice straight line and not have to worry about dealing with the side seams. Okay, so now that I have my vest totally opened up, there's pretty much only the collar and the shoulder seams left at this point. So now I'm going to flip it around, and here I have the collar, and I have it with the right side facing up. And now I'm going to grab one of my nice little ruffled sleeves, and I'm going to pop that together with the right sides facing and the shoulder seam area lined up. So that means I have my raw edges all lined up together. And now I'm going to go stitch that together. So I now have both sides successfully stitched on, and it is looking exactly like I want it to. So I am so pleased about that. So now we need to fold this whole kind of contraption together with the right sides facing and making sure everything is nicely tucked in. So I think I'm going to do one side here folding at a time just to make life a bit easier. And because I left those thick seams on here, pardon my voice, I still have quite a bad cold. Anyway, so because I left those thick seams on the armhole, I know exactly where I need to pin it together and then stitch all the way down to the bottom hem to close up the side seams again. So that's what I'm going to do. Just going to pin that and then go stitch straight down on both sides. Okay, so the sides are stitched back together, and now it is moment of truth time. Let's flip it. Okay, yeah, this is perfect. I don't have enough space here, so let's go and try it on and style it up.
I love this. I truly love this. This is so much cooler than a plain, boring, sleeved sweater, don't you think? And look, it's so ruffly there. It's like, almost like wings, you know? This is, I don't know, is this like a knit butterfly top? I don't know. You let me know down below what we should call this lovely, ruffly sleeved, ruffly sided top. I don't know.
For this super cozy, quick and easy project, all you need are 2 sweaters that you're just not really feeling anymore individually, but will possibly make an awesome Franken sweater when combined together. And of course, your sewing gear. So why exactly did I choose these sweaters to combine? Well, this one I've worn loads. It is super duper soft and it makes my eyes really, really pop. So it's fabulous. And I guess I've worn it too much because I noticed there's a hole in it. Plus there's a few of these little runs in it. And I was just thinking, hey, let's see what we can do because I really love it. It is very, very soft. And this one I actually thrifted a few years ago, and I think I've only worn it once, and that is because, first of all, the sleeves are different lengths, so that is very, very annoying, and second of all, the neck, it looks okay. Right? It looks okay, but as soon as you put it on, you feel like you are being choked because it does not have a lot of stretch to it, and I don't know why that is. But yeah, so my idea is to take these sleeves and put them on this sweater because it just matches so beautifully, the colors, and then my sleeves will be the same length, right? Instead of this whatever the heck is wrong with this one. And then to cover up and mend the little holes and pulls, I'm going to chop out some of these appliques and add them onto this sweater. So a pretty easy transformation, I think. So I flipped my main sweater inside out, and first I'm going to remove the sleeves. And I was thinking, I wonder if there is a way that I can very, very carefully remove them and keep the finished edge here on each side. So one finished edge on the sleeve and the other finished edge on the sweater. I don't know, we're going to see if this is going to work because of course I have an idea for what I'm going to use these sleeves for, and of course that will be an upcoming tutorial. So if I can salvage the actual edges here without having to chop them and then they're going to start fraying, that's going to be easier in the long run, even though picking out stitches is, you know, picky, hence the name, right? But I'm just going to see if this is going to be successful at all, and then we shall come back. Look, I think it is. If I just go very, very slowly. We might be here a while, but I'll just put on a series in the background and, or maybe not, because I really have to pay attention here, right? Okay, that actually worked. And so this is the armhole edge of my sweater. And you can see there's like no fraying at all because it's the finished edge. And then here is the finished edge of the sleeve. And it did take a little while, but now I can set these sleeves aside for my next project, and I know I don't have to worry about them fraying into nothingness while they sit and wait. So now I flipped my other sweater inside out, and I took those sleeves that are not remotely the same length, and I lined up the cuffs, so the ends at least are going to be even. And now I'm just going to grab one of the sleeves I removed and line that up with the edge of my cuffs here. And then I'm just going to chop it, giving myself a little bit for seam allowance. So then I have pretty much the exact same sleeve length for when I put these onto my other sweater. Before I attach my sleeves, I think I'm going to chop out some of these appliques and add them to my sweater, just because I think it's going to make it a lot easier to do it with the sweater not having the sleeves, then I don't have to faff around with the bulky fabric. So after way too long, I finally have my appliques cut out. I didn't realize how thick they were until I started cutting. And so I have one around the collar to cover up those little holes, and that looks adorable. And then the other one here that hopefully is going to look like it's kind of growing out of the side seam. But as I said, this is very, very thick. So I'm going to hand stitch them on. So I have my hand stitching gear, and let me know down below how you store your hand stitching gear. Do you do something like this just in a random storage box, or do you prefer the vintage way and you know, store it in those sugar cookie tins that all of our grandmas seem to have? Anyway, if you're not sure about hand stitching or how to get started, as I always say, feel free to check out my Sewing Basics ebook. Everything's in there. It's super cheap and it's super awesome. Okay, my appliques are now all on, and full disclosure, I gave up hand stitching them after a short time because it was just too painful to try to get through this thick applique here. So instead, I just very, very slowly and carefully went all around the edges with a tight, wide zigzag stitch, and I think it came out great. They both look fantastic. So now it's time to grab the sleeves and get these stitched on. Okay, so I have my sweater inside out and my sleeves right side out, and we're gonna pop the sleeves into the armholes, and then once again there's those right sides facing, which is exactly what we want. And you see here the bottom seam of the sleeve, I'm gonna match that up with the side seam of the sweater, and la la, everything fantastic. And now I'm just going to go stitch this on with a tight, wide zigzag and repeat on the other side. Okay, the sleeves are stitched on, so now let's flip it right side out. Okay, that looks absolutely perfect. It is so adorable now. I have completely transformed this sweater from ripped and drab to totally fab.
You have no excuses now. None. I just showed you again how easy it is to take an old sweater that you're not really feeling anymore and transform it into something awesome multiple ways. So again, no excuses. Grab an old sweater, grab your scissors, get making. And if you can't sew, doesn't matter. I have loads of no-sew tutorials on my channel, or you can take my Sewing, Mending and More Masterclass. That is super cheap, and everything is in there to get you started sewing and doing exactly what I do. And if you want to totally transform your whole wardrobe, then you need to join my wardrobe revolution. Links for all of these things will be down below. Oh, and also my awesome DIY gifts anyone could make e-course, where you get this awesome book, plus the video e-course, plus even more groovy things over there. And it's only $34.99. You can make over 100 gifts. That's like everyone on your list sorted using what you have to make what they want. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and I'll catch ya on the zigzag. And if you want to support me some more behind the scenes, please feel free to join these lovely channel members here. And here's exactly how you can do it. I love my channel members. For just 99 cents a month, you can help save a struggling refashionista. For just 99 cents a month, you can help sustain the much-needed work that goes on behind the scenes. Every thrift flip, every DIY, every upcycle, every free tutorial can only continue with your support. Join my Refashionista crew for only 99 cents a month, less than the cost of 2 bananas or a pack of gum, and help me continue teaching anyone who wants to learn how to use what they have to make what they want. Don't let affordable, sustainable DIY style become an endangered species. Join my Refashionista crew today.
This is Confessions of a Refashionista.